Off Podcast. It's a special holiday episode. I'm here with my beloved brother, William, host of the Missing Collectibles Podcast. And as always, I'm here with Julian, and I am Peter.
And I'm Julian.
And I'm Peter.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Peter.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, William. So, you have been my brother for several years now. Is this correct?
This is correct, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
So, could you tell the story of when we first got our first video game console in our house? Because I've mentioned this many times in our previous podcast that we were not allowed that kind of thing.
No, we weren't. It was the unfortunate passing of our grandfather, and no one else wanted it, so it fell to our parents. And they must have had a discussion behind closed doors where they were like, maybe we should let them play it, and we came home and it was up, and the Super Nintendo was plugged into the TV in the parents' bedroom as the deterrent. It's in our bedroom, we'll know when you're using it.
Yeah,
we played.
That's right.
I don't know how old we were for that, but we were playing Super Mario World and whatnot.
Well, Grandpa Lou passed away just after watching the first Lord of the Rings movie.
So like 2001.
Yeah.
So I was 10. You were 14.
Yeah. So how about that? That's how long we didn't have Nintendo in our lives, ladies and gentlemen.
Savage!
Yes, we were savages.
I mean, we played it every day at the babysitters.
At the babysitters, yeah. But anyway, Julian,
I feel sorry for you guys. I got mine when I was like 4.
Yeah.
And my dad bought it for himself under the guise of buying it for me.
That's what we call a baseball glove.
What a guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much, not gonna lie.
Yeah. But we're feeling festive and we're feeling thankful. We've got a lot of gifts to hand out to each other later. But right now, we have the gift of a review for you all of a game that's actually close to all of our hearts by total coincidence and shock. This is Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko. And if you've never heard of this game, you're not the only one. This was a platformer released in 1999 by Eidos and Crystal Dynamics for the PlayStation and N64. And it's a very fascinating game. It's the third in a trilogy. And this game has a very bizarre history.
Unfortunately, it's just a trilogy.
Yeah. Well, we may have differing opinions on that later. Oh, yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, indeed. So, Julian, you played the N64 version, correct?
Yeah, when I was younger, probably around 10, 14 or so. Mm-hmm. It was actually one of the games I rented a few times from Blockbuster. I rented it twice, and I knew it was twice because I kept trying to beat the damn thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever did, actually.
Yeah, well, we'll find out more about that later.
Here we are all these years later.
Yeah, that's right. But William and I, actually played the second Gex game over at our friend's house over at the Browns. Remember that, William?
We played it on a demo disc, did we not?
Yes, it was a PlayStation demo disc. Remember those?
It had Lara Croft Tomb Raider 1 or 2, or the one where you shoot Siberian tigers, so 2.
Yeah.
I think that was...
It's all in the name of wiping out endangered species.
Yeah, it's like the first 2 minutes of that, the first level of Gex, and Gex 2 and whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't called Gex 2.
It was called Gex 3D, Enter the Gecko.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Gex 3 isn't even called Gex 3. I think it's just called Gex Deep Cover Gecko.
No, it's Gex 3.
I think on the N64 cartridge it has a 3 next to it, but I don't think it does in the PS1. I got corrected on this, so I have to pass it on.
Yeah. Well, it does have Gex 3 on the N64
Okay, I don't have the cartridge for it, but that looks like it has a 3 in the corner.
Look how 90s that is. Who on earth could he be modeling himself after Gex the Gecko?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So for people who can't see because they're not here because this is an audio medium, the N64 has Gex in a Gex the Gecko in a leather jacket in a wrestling ring.
He's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying.
Couldn't be any more late 90s if he tried.
Yeah, I was about to say, just in case you forgot what decade this came out in.
Speaking of, Julian, why don't you describe for us the character of Gex the Gecko, beloved video game mascot?
The 3DO.
Gex, he's an anthropomorphic gecko, of course,
yes.
who is addled with some kind of ism or another, because literally all he does is watch TV and movies all day, and make quips about TV and movies all day out of the blue.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the things I was frustrated with when I started playing the game. He will not shut the fuck up.
Oh my god, he never stops talking.
No, he doesn't.
It's kind of weird. I don't know if it was the same for you two, but I think of the earlier levels, it was worse. Like the first level, the whole like Santa's realm level.
Yeah, that's part of the reason we
he just
chose
would
this
not
game.
stop talking. But in the later levels, I noticed that either the quips came out less, or he just had less level specific ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like reflects my view of the game itself, where you know the more you play, the better it gets. But like. Well, that's at least how I felt. But yeah, like the first half hour is just like, oh my god, stop referencing Star Trek. We've heard your Scotty impression. It's not good.
Scotty, he was trying to do friggin' Patrick Stewart.
I don't know.
I must have missed that one.
Number 1.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Gecko, in the first game, he's yanked into the media dimension by the evil Rez, who is doing something.
Who is suspiciously similar to Metalhead from Vector Man.
Oh, yeah, he is kind of.
I think he's got a Darth Vader looking thing going on when you get to the boss. Oh, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, literally.
Evil Overlord.
Well, literally in the second game, in the ending cutscene, there's a throwaway joke to the fact where Rez says, "I'm your father, Gex." And then Gex pulls the plug on and says, "So, Dad, where were you my whole life?"
Yeah.
Dick.
Deepest lore.
Not really.
The thing about Gex is it started as on the
3DO.
No, I couldn't remember the name of the company. It's something 3DO, isn't it?
No, I have no idea.
Anyway, they were like, we're gonna make a new, in the realm of we got to make a mascot that sells the system, and they made a 2D platformer based on TV tropes, and so they got the horror levels and the cartoon levels and it runs out of steam real quick if you've played it, where there's like 7 horror levels and 8 cartoon levels and 3 jungle levels and 2 kung fu levels, and you're like, where the heck second half of the game go? It just fell off.
There's a sci-fi level that you have to really go out of your way to find, and that contains the hardest levels in the entire game.
You have to get a perfect on one bonus in each world to get the remote to go to the final area, and it's absolutely bullshit.
It is nuts.
And it doesn't have a memory card function. You have to use passwords.
Oh.
It's awful. And you have to find the passwords. You don't get them. You have to, in the levels that the passwords are in, you have to go, and instead of finding the remote to beat the level, you have to find it.
Remember, kids, this is replay value.
Oh my god, it's awful. But anyway, that was in the 3DO, and a Sony executive went, "Hey, you wanna give that to us? We'll make it sell over here." And then 3DO went, "No, we want our mascot back." And Crystal Dynamics went, "Too late." So then
they run out the door.
It went to PlayStation, and they made a sequel, and it won a PlayStation and an N64, and the third one.
Yeah, well, much more successful on the PlayStation, you should say, because Julian, as I think you mentioned earlier, PlayStation not as well known for its platformers as, say, the N64 was.
Well, see, here's the thing. On the PlayStation, yeah, there's more platformers because the PlayStation had a bigger library.
Yep.
But the system's not known for that. Like, you have Crash, you have Spyro, then you have kind of everything else.
Yeah.
On the N64, fuck's sake, it's Nintendo, Mario, Banjo, all those games. It was like super stiff competition.
Yeah.
So really, to be honest, playing this game on the PlayStation is, in my opinion, is just a smarter thing to do. The N64 version is, it's a really crappy version of it.
Yeah, bad optimization, you said, right?
Yeah, well, and I can speak for this because for the review, you played on PlayStation.
Yep.
I think, William, you played on PlayStation too, right? Mm-hmm. So I was saddled with the N64 version. And I say saddled because the frame rate's not as good. They got rid of the intro. Actually, they got rid of all the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
No, they're still there. But instead of like a fully 3D movie, it's just you talking to the screen with a 3-frame picture of the girl just like keeps repeating or something.
Yeah, you're damsel in distress, some sort of former Playboy model.
Oh,
I think,
yeah,
in this game.
Whatever. Yeah, you gotta deal out the plot real quick.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rez is back and he's doing stuff in the media dimension again. What did he do? He stole a Playboy model. Is that what's supposed to sell the game?
Yes.
Yep.
Because every single shot in the PlayStation version of her has ample cleavage.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cleavage.
So much cleavage. But hey, how old were we when we played this game?
I don't even think I cared.
Yeah, I did.
No, I didn't care even back then.
I think I was 8. I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
I click through it now. I click through it then. Every time you beat a level, there's a quick little... You know, if it's the Wizard of Oz level, she's like, there's no place like home. And if it's the pirate level, she's like...
Our matey.
I'll be bored in your poop deck. But I'm like, nope, click, skip, don't talk.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
If only you could skip all the times that Gex quipped out his little quips.
Yeah, there's an audio option to turn his voice off.
Yeah, but then you're not getting the full experience because the game was built around him acting like a spastic.
Okay, so, alright, that's...
Anyway,
You know?
let's talk about the levels, which is the real highlight of this game, because I'd say the diversity in terms of, like, channels you can go to, because they're called channels. You have the holiday special channel.
It's the Mario 64 style.
Yes,
there's
it is.
a bunch of different... You gotta go to the level themed after the thing and go do a bunch of goals to get the MacGuffin, and you got to get 50 MacGuffins to open the next door to go to the next hub world with more MacGuffins, and then you get enough to go to the final boss.
Yeah. Different from Mario 64, though, you can select an objective for yourself, but you're not tied into that.
Well, you can do that in Mario 64 too, but some things won't spawn if you don't pick the right one.
Exactly. This is different, where everything's available to you if you want it.
It's also worth mentioning because like everything in Mario's in one castle, whereas the overworlds here are like pretty big areas.
Yeah.
And that's kind of problem I have with the second one in like the little valley with all the water you can swim in.
Yeah.
It's so freaking expansive, and the draw distance isn't really that great. I'm just going around saying, how the F do I get to the boxing ring on top to get to the boss?
Yeah, you have to go through the locker. Not a lot of this is very self-explanatory.
No.
It's like I get it runs on Cartoon Logic and all, but it's like, just give me a doorway saying boss through here. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so go back to the level. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but it seemed to be meaning to explain.
Yeah, well, part of the reason we chose this game to talk about the Christmas season is because literally the first game is like this sort of Banksy, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer holiday level where you have all the elves throwing snowballs at you, and you have an evil Santa who's like, "You're on my list," kind of thing. I think it's amusing. I think the level design in this game is actually pretty top notch. There's a lot of creativity in there. It doesn't always work, and some of it is a little clusterfucky, if I can describe it like that. But there's a lot of imagination on display.
Yeah.
By clusterfucky, do you mean the Greek level?
We'll get to that. Yes.
Oh Jesus.
But I think there's a lot of clever use, especially in later stages, of like having the level paths snake around each other to give the illusion that the level is bigger than it actually is. But then there's other levels where it's literally as big as it's supposed to be, and the frame rate drops because the game is trying to load all this stuff at the same time.
Oh, you mean Gangsterland?
Oh God, yes.
That has the worst... the second to last level in the game. I'm surprised they were even able to get it on the N64 and the PlayStation because the frame rate drops through the fucking floor.
Yeah. Well, there's so many particle effects, and there's so many gangsters shooting stuff at you, and there's so much spinning things.
I don't really think that's even the problem. The problem is the level's so huge.
Yeah.
And they just had to marry the biggest, slowest level with the toughest foot soldier enemies who just throw these boxes at you from like 2 miles away.
And they're the only enemy in the game that respawns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I don't know why.
holy crap.
That is really ridiculous.
So I'll go back to... So you go into a level and it gives you... There's a quick menu screen and it's got 3 options. It says, as the first level, the holiday broadcasting, it says whack evil Santa, create 5 ice sculptures, and whack the snowboarding elves.
Yeah.
And then it'll give you a quick camera zoom through the level to show you kind of where you need to start or what you're looking at, which I very much appreciate when you get to when you were a kid, you got to a new level.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, break off the corner of the wall. Not to compare it to Mario 64, but that's what you have to do. And you're like, what wall?
Many
just
walls.
shoot the corner with Mario's face out of a cannon. No one would have figured that out. So if they had the camera zoom over to that wall and point at it and be like, ding, 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 shoot this wall, or even if they had that, you still wouldn't have been able to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful.
It
and
is
then
helpful.
there's the fourth thing, which is get all the coins. Now, unlike Mario 64, which has a ton of extra coins, even though they slowly blink away if you don't pick them up fast enough. Gex levels have exactly 100 coins.
And you have to find them all.
You have to get every one of them. Enemies drop them. they come out of the environment. Certain things you can whack in the environment and they'll spit them out, and they don't go away when they drop. But it's a pain in the ass to backtrack all the way through a level to find the one you missed.
As a completionist, how would you compare this to, the classic achievement hunting kind of trying to find chests in an Assassin's Creed game?
Well, the problem being the draw distance, which
Yeah.
is the main problem I think we all have, is you can't. There's like a first-person view. You press triangle like you did, and you stand on top of a building and you look around.
It doesn't always work,
see 5 feet in front of your face. You can't see.
Yeah.
It could be on a building 10 feet out of view. It could be in a chicken at the beginning of the level because you have to whack every single chicken in the western level to drop all the coins.
Yeah.
See,
Lots of variation.
I think the problem with that comparison, though, is that, like, in games like Assassin's Creed, that stuff's optional objectives that, they're made for completionists, like the fuck around type of guys. In Gex, they're tied to the progression.
I'll say I'm a fuck around kind of guy.
But, like, I think that's just the difference, which is why in Assassin's Creed, or games like that, it's more tolerable, where here it's, I need one remote, and I cannot find the last fucking coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're tied into that unless you want to try and find 5 of a kind in the Western level or something like
Right.
that.
Which, actually, because you two beat the game on PlayStation,
Yes.
and this is one thing I want to get to
Uh-huh.
real quick before we go further into the coins.
Yeah.
I actually did not beat the N64 version.
Yeah.
I got game over after game over on the Jack and the Beanstalk area.
Really?
Because the stupid point where the path keeps shrinking, and let me tell you, the N64 controller is not suited for that kind of precision.
Precise movement?
No, God, no, it is not. The PlayStation controller is better at that, and all you get are like 4 buttons.
Nice little taps with the D-pad. You can slightly reorient yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm. You can control the camera a lot easier with the L1 and R1.
And
It's a little annoying.
and 1 second, just give me 1 second on
Yes.
this. So I kept dying by trying to like launch myself onto like the little padded wall that you're supposed to climb up, and I fell down and I freaking killed myself 100 times over. And then Peter points out to me, because I told him, like, I'm just frustrated, I want to play the PlayStation so I can beat the damn game. He's like, did you know you could glide? And I'm like, no.
Yes. The Gex, whenever he goes into a level, he changes costume based on the level he's in, and certain costumes give him certain abilities. Generally, it's a gliding ability, but the game doesn't tell you which costumes do what.
And what button you have to hit,
Mm-hmm.
which is the karate kick button.
Yeah.
See things though, I would have never guessed that, because like that doesn't even look like a cape. If Gex had a cape, I can infer from the cape. Okay, maybe I can glide.
Oh yeah, it's this tiny little dinky thing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, it's like red, Little Red.
Riding Hood's hood.
Yeah.
It goes like halfway down his back. It wouldn't even.
Yeah. Not even. Yeah.
It's not aerodynamically sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Like.
Unsubscribe.
Yeah. Like I get
Not
the fact that
physics.
like the game runs on cartoon logic again, but like there's nothing about that makes me think, oh, I can glide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should point out that you do have a little helper in the game, some sort of turtle named Alfred.
He's your butler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can whack him and he will give you advice, like he teaches you to do the karate kick move. But he won't tell you how to glide and when you can or can't.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the
He's
anime
in that
level.
level.
Yeah, he is in that level,
know
but
if
he
he tells
doesn't.
you.
He doesn't.
He
He absolutely doesn't.
He might mention that you got to whack the bonus coin to get the.
Yeah, he does that, but he
Yeah.
doesn't tell you you have to whack the little stone mirror to give yourself a little checkpoint halfway up the beanstalk,
Yeah.
which will save you climbing all the way back up.
And to get in it, you got to stand on the red X and stare at it in first person.
Yeah, it's
All right, that's okay. So you got the levels in order.
Mm-hmm.
You got your holiday themed level, your murder mystery. I say murder mystery themed level. You
Sherlock. Yeah.
Yep.
You've got the Buccaneer program. You've got the Egyptian program.
The Army Channel.
The Western Station.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Then the first boss, which is the
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold
Basic.
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
You go to
pretty
the
funny.
second area, Slappy Valley, and you got the Fairy Tale Beanstalk level, the Greek level, also horrible.
And then the anime level.
Which, in retrospect, after playing it recently, is not very well designed. The
What are you
level's
talking
actually
about?
pretty rough. Hold on, we'll keep going.
All right.
Wizard of Oz boss,
Uh-oh.
and the final area, which is gangster and superheroes, and then you fight Rez on his space station.
Yep, a huge giant space station with lots of spinny Soyuzes and satellites.
Yeah.
So that's all the levels, plus some bonus levels in there which actually have different themes.
It's bonus time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a carryover from the first game. He says the exact same thing in the bonus levels.
Hey, you're right. It is.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that's all the levels. do any of them stand out for you in terms of design or music or anything as better or more memorable?
Can I cite lack of design?
Yes, you
in
can.
some areas?
Go ahead.
The army base looks really friggin' slipshod. It's just like big empty rooms, these machine gun nests in the spotlights, and enemies. That's it. It feels like a prototype. You're coming off like the Western level and the Egyptian level, where like the environments are interactive. You get to do all these cool things, and it's like okay, explore flat rooms.
Well, you can't fault it for its historical accuracy. Remember in Saving Private Ryan when those walking hand grenades came towards the bridge?
Fucking bullshit walking hand grenades. Can we talk about how dumb that is?
Okay.
He just blows up barely off screen and Gex just falls over and takes a hit.
They walk up behind you and you can't even see it.
I don't know how they spawn. I don't know where they come from.
They parachute in.
What the fuck? They're the worst enemy ever.
They parachute in on a game that you can't look upward to tell when they're coming in.
Yeah, you can.
And I think by the empty room, you mean when you go in the basement of the one thing, a la Great Escape style, under the stove?
No,
and it's just a bunch of empty tunnels with like maybe a paw coin and a bonus coin.
Oh, that too. But
nothing in there.
I was just referring to like the main area where it's like this flat rectangular room with no interesting terrain. They have like the foxholes, but like that's it, and it's just.
So you're saying it's sectioned off by the fences, but it is essentially a giant room.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like coming off the Egyptian level, it was just like really like, really? That's it? Feels kind of dumb.
Well, what about the tank section of the game?
Tank section's sweet.
Tank section was pretty good.
Also, chugs
I
pretty
will
hard
give
when
it
you
that.
try and shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the draw distance not great on there either. The Buccaneer program's got the same problem when you're up in the rigging and you're trying to.
Yeah, the huge pirate ship.
Pretty much doing anything.
When you're trying to find the remote for nailing all the battleships,
yeah,
it took me like 5 solid minutes to realize that it's on the side of the ship, and I need to make a complete leap of faith because the terrain I'm trying to jump down onto is blocked by the railing.
And so you can't see over it with the camera.
I'm just like, what do you say to myself? I hope I don't die, because if I die, I'm sending back to the last checkpoint before I got the objective done.
What possessed them to put the TV down there when the 4 shoot the battleship doors are all on the same lower deck of the ship?
Put it right down there.
Yeah.
Plonk the TV right there to lead you out of the game.
Yeah, so like Mario 64, in the way that there's the blue little star silhouette on the ground, you know where the star's going to spawn after you complete the objective to trigger it. It's the same thing with Gex, except it's a big ass TV,
retro style,
big ass retro TV with a big button.
Yeah.
And when you get the thing, it cuts to it when you blow up the 4 battleships. You blow up the battleships. It shows a little quick cutscene of the remote popping up over the button, and now you've seen where the TV is, and you know how to get to it, and you did the thing. You just go there and stand on the button, and you get it.
Yeah. So anyway, you were saying Egypt level.
Yes, I was saying Egypt level.
You were saying Egypt level.
I think Egypt level has a lot. It has good humor. It has good. It's got good theming. It has good platforming. I mean, the quicksand is weird, but it's only in it for like 10 seconds.
And it doesn't kill you, which
it also has lots of checkpoints, unlike other levels that have like 1 checkpoint. Like the pirate level has 1 checkpoint, 10 seconds in, and it's the only checkpoint in the level. I don't understand why.
Yeah, me either.
It's really, really early in the level.
And if you're trying to go for the get up to the crow's nest or get the 4 battleships,
get all the coins.
It's like a good 5-10 minutes before you even get to that point.
Yeah.
So if you die, hey, good luck. Have fun.
I think you respawn if you're going for all the coins. You respawn at the point where you'd have like maybe 36. So you gotta get 64 of them.
Yeah.
Which involves jumping on tiny little platforms with no draw distance up on the top of the ship, and if you miss it, you fall off the level and you gotta respawn.
Yeah. Did you find the controls to be reasonably responsive, or?
Okay. Yeah. So for a 3D platform where you run around and you get MacGuffins and you get coins, I think, despite the fact that it doesn't have a really cool jump. I'm doing the Mario 64 thing again because I can't really see anything else to compare it to besides Banjo.
Yeah.
But Mario's got all the crazy jumps and the wall kicks and the long jump and the this and the that. But the main complaint I've always had with Mario is when you try and turn around in place, sometimes he just morphs where his face is on the other side of his head. Where like one frame he's facing one way, one frame he's facing the next. Yeah. Other time he does that weird little run in a circle. He kind of runs and he takes a turn.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that on the rigging and the pirate ship level, you'd just fall off.
Yeah, Gex does that all the time.
He does that sometimes. I feel like he does it less.
Yeah.
But on the PS4, on the PlayStation, you can just hit the D-pad down and he turns around.
That's true.
You cannot do that on the N64. So I imagine you probably had to jump and then hit down on the stick to make him turn around because you can't risk trying to turn around in place. You can't do a little tips and taps to walk real small.
Yeah, that is irritating.
The controller is just not suited for that type of precision movement.
No.
Could you not use the D-pad on the N64? Was that not mapped in?
I'm sure you could, but honestly, I've always found that so awkward. It just isn't how the controller was designed. I've always been a control stick guy. It's just how every other game controls, so, why would I switch?
Well, obviously...
It might just be my fault, but, really, to be honest, that game had other issues besides the controls, and...
No, it's not your fault. The fault was with Nintendo when they designed the N64 controller for their one employee with 3 hands.
Did you find the Dracula powers in the second level? The Murder Mystery level? What is it? Mystery TV?
It's Mystery TV, yes.
Yep.
Because that's the other costume you can get that has an effect.
Yeah.
There's actually a couple that let you glide and have super strength and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Barring Superhero TV, which is the definite exception.
Yeah.
You turn into Dracula in the Murder Mystery level and you can glide with your vampire powers.
Yeah. He actually has some funny jokes in that. Yeah, remember, it says... Julie, you might not appreciate this, but at one point Dracula Gecko says, Keanu Reeves ruined my movie.
That's true.
Well, actually, yeah, that's not
no,
really
the movie ruined that movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Which Keanu Reeves acted in, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Gary
not his
Oldman
fault.
as Dracula?
It did.
Gary Oldman, please!
But he was good in it, once he got out of the stupid butt hairdo.
Did he?
Costume.
And he got into the weird cough syrup colored armor.
Yeah,
It looked like it was made of purple onions.
I thought it looked like it was made of raw meat.
It looked really weird.
Anyway, let's get back to better things, arguably. What other levels stand out for me? Well, I'm going to come out and say the anime level is my favorite. I think it has the best level design, best music, but it also...
The music's really good.
The music is really good. But I'd say the music is pretty good across all the levels.
I still listen to it every so often. I have a soundtrack I listen to while streaming, and I have a couple level music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that was, below average or something. There were some tracks that don't stand out to me as much, but, yeah, the music across the board's pretty good.
Yeah.
No issues.
There was actually a music track that was lifted from another game, and it was in the first secret bonus area in the main hub area. You remember that, William? It was some sort of Aztec rainforest temple area.
From the Legacy of Kain or the Blood, whatever. It's one of the game.
Blood Omen?
Yeah, that's the was it? Did the N64 version have demos on it? Because the PlayStation version has demos.
It was called Kuji the Heartless, and that came out in 1998. Made with the same engine that this uses.
I think that there's a demo for it on the PlayStation 1 version.
Oh, really?
Well, there's the main menu, and it's, new, load, continue, options, demos.
Yeah.
And I was always like, what? Demos?
Yeah, exactly. But that's a nice little nod to other games in development at the time, presumably by some of the same team members.
Yeah.
Probably just a stroke of laziness.
Yeah. But I would like to point out in the anime level, great design, reasonably fun enemies, not too difficult to kill. The schoolgirls, they say itari, which is Japanese for ouch, apparently.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah.
There's a couple enemies with weird hitboxes, so when they're trying to attack you, it seems like no matter how you hit them, they always end up hitting you at the same time.
Yeah.
The schoolgirl in the anime level is one of them. The big walking gangster guy who just leans forward. That guy always hits you, even if you do the karate kick move, which is it's like an attacking version of the long jump from Mario if he did it forward. So it's like your preferred mode of travel if you're trying to either get around fast or always be attacking while moving. Yeah. If you try and jump karate kick him, it still hits you? But you're the one attacking.
I had a problem with the final boss. Rez's left-hand swipe was pretty easy to dodge.
Yes!
His right-hand swipe, I could never get around.
What is this? I don't know. You just have to tank the hits and get enough extra hit points.
I mean, at that point in the game, you should have 8 hit points in the first place, but it's
absolutely.
Holy crap.
Yeah, one of the collectibles you can get is you have 4 hit points, and there's collectibles called paw coins, which is it looks like a big glowing version of where your hit points is, and every 25 of those, there's 10 in each level. Every 25 you get a border around your hit points, so you basically have another hit.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. Going back to the hitboxes on the enemies, though, some are very obnoxious and some hit you no matter what you try and do. However, the giant mechs in the anime level, all you need to do is just run between their legs and keep whacking them, and they pratfall themselves.
Yeah, they're real bad. It's a Dark Souls boss for sure. You just stand and hit it in the butt.
They have 3 different ways to hit you. They have a ranged attack, which is launching missiles. Then they have their fist, and then they can spin around on their torso and hit you with their circular saw blade.
Could this be a stealth parody of the AT-ATs?
Maybe, or the ATSTs.
That must have been intentional, because there's no way.
Just saying.
The first playtester was like, "This enemy's a piece of shit. You're bad. Are you sure this was?" Because like any other enemy, if you tried to do that, you would have like touched their toe and it would have hurt you. It's got the Mario Bros logic where if you just bump into an enemy, it hurts you, which I always find to be a dumb idea.
Mm-hmm. Now I have a question for you guys. Now you both played through the anime level.
Yep.
It's
the longest one for getting all the coins, barring a level where you missed one somewhere.
I think it's easier.
But
the question I have to ask you guys is, how many quippy jokes does Gex make that are actually related to an anime?
Like none of them.
None.
Not a single one.
I don't know. I stopped watching anime like 15 years ago.
It did. He
makes Star Wars jokes. He makes Star Trek jokes.
Right.
He makes George Jetson jokes of all things.
He doesn't make a single anime joke.
No. What the heck is going on there, right?
Good. The developers probably considered it below them.
Oh, really? Not a single Cowboy Bebop joke. That was ripe opportunity. And he was dressed in a Gundam costume. No Gundam jokes?
Oh, that's another one where you get to fly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's probably my favorite costume of all of them.
It does look really cool.
It is really sweet. But anyway, what else is worth talking about in this game? The boss fights. They're pretty forgettable, right?
Yeah, they're really easy and they're like 30 seconds long.
You guys were actually joking before that the story's just kind of there. I think even developers took that kind of approach to it.
Yeah.
So like you get to the final boss, there's no fanfare, there's no introduction.
Yeah.
It's like the third game in a trilogy. It's like, the people who had been playing the series and, grew up playing it and were waiting for the third one, all two of them really.
Yeah.
You get to the final boss and he's there and there's no dialogue and you just hit him a few times with the same exact pattern and then it just ends.
The best thing about it is his Darth Vader no. It's very epic when he's like, no!
That's funny. That predated the Revenge of the Sith
by
Darth
6
Vader
years.
no.
Yeah, I
6
I
years.
think to this day that still sounds good and I think there's some tension, but there's definitely there's no huff or anything about it.
It doesn't make me feel like I'm fighting a final boss. It's like, oh, there's just some asshole in a metal suit.
It's certainly a difficult boss fight, but it's not, again, a particularly memorable one. Mostly because you do the exact same thing to defeat Rez in the second game. He does some swipes at you, he has some range attacks, and then you either bash some things on him from above or shoot him in the chest.
Well, the first boss is the one where you eat the weird glowing mosquito and you jump on TVs. You remember the boss of the first game? Yeah, good. Don't.
Okay.
It's not good.
I seem to remember the first boss being some sort of like a stringy-haired, creepy lady in a cemetery.
Oh yeah. Well, I meant the Res boss.
Well, even without take the second game into account, it's the same pattern and beat him each time.
Yeah.
Get to the glowing fly, shoot a missile at him so it hits his chest.
Yeah, you're right. That is what you did. Yep.
And just dodge the missile.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Do it 5 times and it's done. I'm just like, that's it.
We didn't really talk about the power-up system.
No, it's basically like
you find a TV with a green fly in it, you whack it, you eat the fly to get a hit point back. Or, which is a very neat idea, if you have full hit points, you can still whack it, and the fly follows you around, and if you get hit, the fly flies away. So it's like having another hit point.
Yeah.
Which is neat because there are other flies that when you swallow, you get certain powers, mostly spitting related. You can get a freeze, which freeze enemy into a block. You can use it as a platform. You can get a fire thing, which lets you burn things, and there's other stuff.
I can't remember getting the ice power up in the N64 though. It was just the fire or the acid.
It's like the first thing you do in the Greek levels, freeze that one soldier.
Yeah, but
the Greek level in N64 is different than the one on PlayStation.
So I've seen.
Yeah.
I need to. It's a weird giant cave.
Yeah, it's in this big stupid cave.
I think it's supposed to be like Hades or something like that.
It makes sense because the one on PlayStation chugs harder than friggin' fat guy eating porridge out of a. I don't know.
Yeah, the mythology level in the PlayStation version is by far and without a doubt the absolute worst. Because, say what you will about the gangster level, at least there aren't bottomless pits everywhere.
It's literally made of bottomless pits. Cause it's supposed to be like Mount Olympus up on clouds with vines. He's constantly making Animal House jokes.
Oh, it never ends. Toga. Toga.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like Animal House. What are we, fucking 50?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Niedermeyer.
Yeah.
Playing that game as like a 7 or 8 year old, I got maybe 3 jokes. Playing as a 25-year-old, I got maybe 5 jokes.
It's like watching Team America.
Today. There's still jokes in it I don't get to this day. Sometimes it's because I can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's because it's from a TV show from the 1980s that I've never heard of.
Yeah. This thing is very much a product of its time, I'd say, in that it's... Well, let's say the 90s were pretty big on making referential humor. Mystery Science Theater was big on that, but the difference is there was volume and quality as well as quantity.
It also wasn't the same joke every 30 seconds.
Exactly.
For 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Gex is the algorithm that defines when Gex makes a quip is very bizarre because he actually has specific quips for specific enemies. I don't know if you ever heard him quipping at the tiny miniature soldier in the mythology level. But he'll sometimes say, "Oh, look at the little soldier."
That's one of my favorite quips because I feel the same way. I'm like, piece of shit. Because the way you can never seem to hit him, and when you go up to hit him, he blocks with the sword. He's like the only enemy who blocks you.
Yeah.
The pirate skeletons block.
Oh,
you
they
as well.
do that too.
Yeah.
But they're such a...
Yeah.
It's the same character. It's palettes. It's a texture swap. It's the same enemy.
Yeah.
There's no way that's not the same enemy.
Absolutely. Well,
Actually, that's not true. The Greek one stabs forward, and the pirate one just slashes.
yeah, the Greek one is more like Ray Harryhausen. Would you say that the enemy variety is pretty good in this game?
I mean, it's alright, you know, like
Yeah.
each level gives you like 2 or 3 enemies, but that's all you're gonna see.
Yeah, it's not even more than like 5. It's very few.
Yeah, the fact that they include so many and they're all pretty much unique to their levels, I'd say, is impressive in its own right. They have certain different attack patterns. You have the Old English hunter in the mystery level
love
who
that guy.
shoots tracking bullets at you somehow.
Really slow-moving bullets out of like a blunderbuss rifle from the,
and it has the
Yeah.
Matrix sound effect where kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of out of place for that. You know what? Yeah. I'm trying to think of how many enemies there are per level. There's like 2?
2, yeah.
Yeah.
2, and then the cookie cutter, the TV with legs, which is in every level.
Yeah.
I think it's like you're talking about mystery TV. You get the bear that walks around,
Which is
and,
also impossible to hit without it hitting you.
Yeah.
and the Great White Hunter, and that's it.
That's it.
They have those lawn chairs that try to eat
There's
you, but
2
they
of
don't
them.
attack. And that's
Well, yeah, they're just environment problems.
Just at the pool. That's it. And then there's
Yeah.
the weird TVs with legs, which are in every level. And that's what's weird is this walking TVs with legs, which is it's the theme of the game. It's the media dimension, whatnot. There's weird TVs with legs. Why not?
Yeah,
they're
that's
all
it.
over the place, but they don't all act the same. But
No.
they don't look different. Because there's one area, I think it's the hub world it's the final hub area. You whack them and they die in one hit. They just blow up.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you whack them, they flip over, their legs curl up, and then they blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in that one area alone, you whack them and they blow up in one hit. And if you did that, your brain might go, "What? Why
Yeah.
did that do a different thing? I'm used to the other
Yeah.
thing."
Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah,
Is there
enemy
any-
variety's bad. It's not like it's the same enemy over and over again in every area. You don't see the TVs that often. But yeah, there's not that many enemies in every level.
Yeah.
No, not enemy.
Really, the bigger challenge comes from avoiding the stupid environment.
Yeah, there's some weird clipping issues and stuff like that. At one point, you were standing on a box in the gangster level, and the top of the box was in front of
Yeah.
Gex.
It gives you a really wacky perspective
Oh,
issue.
yeah.
But really, it's just more like, the bottomless pits or the environment hazards or stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I found myself dying to way more often than any enemy.
So you'd say it's probably the camera, which led to those deaths.
Probably.
Yeah, the camera's pretty bad.
Yeah. That's a very strange thing. By this point, 1999, the PlayStation dual analog controller was pretty much a mainstay, and yet you're still stuck with using the L1 and R1 to rotate the camera around yourself, which doesn't always help because sometimes the camera's right behind Gex's head, 2 feet away,
Yeah,
and
but-
you can't see what's around you.
Because
It'll get
doesn't
stuck on the
Doesn't
environment.
want to go through a wall. That's a mainstay of most platforming games of that era. But
Yeah.
it really goes to show when people say Mario 64's camera's really good. It's because you play a game like this and you're like, oh yeah, it is way better.
Yeah, it's all context.
I forgot how bad it can be.
Like on the Jack of the Beanstalk level where like you're in the little cutout with the little couch and the TV. You need to jump to the
You
opposing
cannot
platform.
say shit in that little area.
No.
You can't say
And
anything.
remember, this is before I learned I could glide. I'm like, okay, time to take a leap of faith.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh
make
shit, I missed.
Good luck. That's the thing. Okay, yeah. So one of the moves, one of the moves is a karate kick. So what you probably thought to do there is do the karate kick move, which you need just like some of the triple jump in Mario. You have to do it over distance. You can't do it standing in place. You won't do the third jump. You cannot do the karate kick. You hit the crouch button after running a certain distance at full speed. You hit the crouch button while jumping at the same time, and he does a lunge karate kick.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're trying to do that, you don't run just far enough, and he just lays down. He
Yeah.
doesn't do the karate kick.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, it's a bit vague when you're allowed to do the crime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's using his tail. Why don't you just jump and attack?
Yeah.
Why not two? Why not 2 instead of 3?
That's a good point. Why doesn't it just square and X instead of... I guess X and R2 probably feels better than mashing 2 face buttons at the same time.
Perhaps, yeah, but Need for 3 buttons kind of threw me off there. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, we've been very down on this game, more than I expected, if I'm honest.
I mean, I like it for nostalgia purposes, but playing it with some open eyes, it is pretty rough in a lot of places.
Well, perhaps this is a good time to bring up our patented rating system, because we have a separate thing, separate from our recommendation, which is either goggles on or goggles off.
Okay. And
goggles on basically means this game is very much a product of its time. It may have some redeeming qualities, but it's very much, they didn't know as well back then how to do things properly, camera controls, platforming controls, that kind of thing. And goggles off is like, oh my god, this thing is just as good as I remember it. Donkey Kong Country still is addictive, that kind of thing.
Good comparison.
Yeah. So, by that measure, would you say this game is goggles off or goggles on?
You asking me first?
Yes, I am.
Because I've played all 3 of them,
mm-hmm.
and I would have to say it's goggles on, because I think Gex 2 is better.
Yeah.
The problem I have with Gex 2 compared to Gex 3 is Gex 3 has each level as a contained theme.
Yeah.
It's 1 holiday level, 1 gangster level, 1 anime level. Gex 2's way of doing it was you said the same thing where you went to a level and you did the remote. You got the remotes by doing a specific task, but there was like 5 horror levels, 5 cartoon levels, so you explored the entirety of the trope.
So there was a variety of themes as well as platforming different things. That. It wasn't tied to making everything look like a haunted mansion or a snowy Christmas theme or something like that.
I just think some of the levels in Gex 2 fall off. Sorry, I'm talking to Pooh.
Well, that's kind of the problem when you have, a third entry in a franchise.
It runs out of steam.
Exactly.
How much more blood can it squeeze from the stone?
That's true.
Speaking of someone who's really only played Gex 3 for any length of time, I did play Gex 2 briefly. I remember a few of the levels, but you need some serious goggles. Now, I will say that, again, I played the N64 version mainly, which is far worse than the PlayStation version. The PlayStation version actually isn't bad. I actually did like it in a lot of areas. The controls are tighter, the frame rate's better, it gives you more stuff. Okay, PlayStation version, I actually would recommend people play. N64, just skip. On a system with Banjo and Conker and Mario, you really have no reason to play it unless it's like, I've played all those games and I need some other platformer. You
got half a dozen Rareware games on the N64.
Exactly.
You've got no other reason to go for anything else, really.
Exactly.
And on PlayStation, again, like you were saying, you've got Bandicoot, Spyro, a bunch of other games like that.
And then you have everything else. Yeah. So Gex, I think, stands out a little more.
Yeah, well, I have to say that I probably liked Gex 3 a little more than you guys, but I still have to say definitely goggles on. But here's the question. Would you recommend it? I actually would, because it's an easy enough game to find, and there is some humor to be found from it. If you can get it for cheaper than $5, then it's maybe worth your time anymore.
Which you probably will.
I'd even say as high as like $12 is still probably worth it. You'll get enough out of it.
Really? Okay.
I mean, there's only it's not 120 stars. It's only 50 remotes.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those are going to be to get the 100 coins, which only people like me are going to try and do in every level.
Yeah.
I tried to do a full playthrough of every remote and every coin.
Because you're Mr. Completionist.
Yes, Mr. Missing One Collectible, the fucking gangster TV level. It's the bane of my existence. I made it all the way through the game. I got all the coins in the fairy tale level, pulling all my hair out. I got them all. That one was another level where I got all the way to the end and I was missing one, and I was just like, calm down. We'll find it. We'll get it. But I made it all the way. I made it all the way to the final area, which only has 2 levels, just like Gex 1, where the first area had 9 horror levels. This one it's got 3 in the first area, 4 in the second area, 4 in the third area, and then the final hub area has 2 levels in it. But yeah, I missed 1 coin in Gangster TV, and running around with bad frame rates for 10 minutes, I just gave up, and I was like, I'm done.
I can only take so many Hindenburg, the safe way to travel jokes.
Oh god,
yeah. So you'd actually recommend this game then, William?
I think it does an interesting thing with the genre, and I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah, Julian?
Yeah, I think in general it's not a bad choice to make, but again, it is highly tied to what platform you're playing it on.
Yeah. Well, here's something else I wanted to bring up before we get into our final section. Would this actually work, this kind of idea, maybe not this character, but this idea of genre switching and platforming, would this work in the modern day better than it did back then? Because we've got Netflix out the wazoo, we got Game of Thrones, we've got so many popular TV. TV's bigger than it ever has been in many ways.
You're still only really going to have the same tropes, though.
Yeah.
And really, to be honest, the problem with reference humor is that it gets dated. No matter how much you try to avoid that, there's always going to be a certain point where, oh, the joke was funny 10 years ago. Again, I compare to watching like Team America, World Police. Funniest fucking movie in the world when I saw it when it first came out, because the humor was so topical. You know, Bush administration. Oh, very bad intelligence.
Yeah.
You watch it now, it's like, oh yeah.
The Durka section probably doesn't go over as well anymore.
No, probably not.
No, definitely
probably not. And
the
and
Matt Damon joke is the only one I think that probably still works for.
Well, yeah,
The Michael Myers joke's also pretty good.
But like, you know.
Michael Moore.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thanks, Peter.
But so many Michaels.
But the point I'm trying to make is like, you know, really, to be perfectly honest, in 10 years, nobody's gonna give a shit about Game of Thrones. No one.
Unless they make a spin-off and they keep going and then.
It's like today. Nobody cares about Lost. Lost was like the biggest thing in the world when it came out.
Yeah, that's true.
Today, who gives a crap about it?
Yeah, how are you gonna make a Lost level?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna make the wrestling level and the army level and the Egyptian level.
Yeah. Sorry, but the concept really it's tied to the 90s, I think, in a certain way, and I think it's best that they just kind of leave it alone.
All right, well, fair enough. And with that over, I now have a bring back of a popular segment, popular to me and me alone. It is the Cheaters Quiz. Alex Trebek hasn't sued yet. We can still get away with this.
Did you change it enough?
This
No.
is the NES version of Jeopardy.
Okay.
It was the same pitch too.
I
so
have
wait
almost
for the
every
lawyers.
version of Jeopardy on NES. I don't know why people keep giving them to me.
Anyway.
There's Junior Edition, Adult Edition, 25th Anniversary, Original, Toddler Edition. There's like 7 versions of Jeopardy on the NES.
Anyway.
Sorry.
I'll just wait for Christmas.
No,
anyway. This is the quiz where we talk about cheat codes. We all love them. They don't do them as much as they used to, and I kind of miss that. But
They disable achievements.
yeah, exactly.
And they'll sell it back to you.
Uh-huh. So, it's time to test your knowledge and your intuition about what cheat codes are actually real and what cheat codes are made up.
Okay.
So, possibly my favorite aspect of this game and the Gex series is the fact that Gex changes into different costumes with every level. And again, they give you certain abilities. There is a cheat in this game which allows you to dress up as certain characters in any level. But the question is, which one won't they let you dress up as? Is it A, Gundam Gex from the Anime Channel, B, Dracula Gex from the Mystery Channel, C, Red Riding Gex from the Fairy Tale Channel, or D, Electric Gex from the Superhero Channel?
Where? Oh yeah.
A, B, C, or D?
We didn't really touch on that.
Yeah, that's fine, whatever. The superhero level's pretty forgettable.
Yeah, it sucks.
And so, what is it? A, B, C, or D?
Well, 3 flying power-ups and the super strength power-up.
Yeah. I'm going with D.
I'm going with C because it's forgettable.
Okay. Well, you're both wrong. The answer was A. You can't play as the coolest looking costume.
That's
Friggin'
really-
Gundam
That's
Gex.
stupid. Why would they do that?
Yeah. You know what? That really seals this game's fate for me. This game is really irritating. You know what? I don't recommend it anymore.
Wow, rescinded.
Rescinded. Because they didn't know what kind of a good thing they had, and they didn't push it as far as they could have.
We didn't talk about the cheat codes.
What do you mean?
Well, this game has
there's-
cheat codes. When you beat a bonus level, you get rewarded a combination of buttons, and you'd think, oh, you see this, let me just punch it in real quick. It doesn't do anything.
Because there's star symbols as well.
Yeah, you have to beat 4 secret hidden TVs to get 4 secret symbols to open up a vault in the Gex hub.
So much replay.
And then you go in there and you can put in the password. So it actually makes you work for your cheat codes, which I actually like to continue.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah.
So there you have it, everybody. We hope that you get some better video games this Christmas. Would you recommend anything to get for, say, a Steam sale if anybody gets a Steam card? What's good value for money right now?
Axiom Verge is great.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay. What is it?
Metroidvania.
Oh, okay. So, Julian, you have any recommendations?
Just buy Doom.
Oh, Doom
Which
4?
one? All of them. Wait, not Doom 3.
All of them.
Not
All of
Doom
them
3.
but Doom 3.
I liked Doom 3.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh, you live here.
You like
I'll get
Spawn.
out. I'll see myself out.
So what if I like Spawn?
On Super Nintendo?
You.
No.
No, it's just general. Peter, you like anime. Shut up.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to shotgun an entire genre.
I'll do it gladly.
All right.
Anyway, we're wrapping up here.
No,
right?
I have to recommend a thing.
Yeah.
I recommend Super Hot.
Oh, I haven't played that yet.
Super Hot is actually really cool.
I know I played the demo, but the demo was wicked good.
Yeah, it was wicked good, and the game actually expands on that. Just being able to slice bullets in slow motion with your katana.
Yeah, you could slice bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the game where it only moves when you move, right?
Right.
So everything goes in
Exactly.
slow
That's the
motion?
tagline.
Yeah.
Simple concept, but really in-depth
Good execution.
Execution, yeah.
And they got lots of like survive as long as you can maps, and you gotta love those.
Oh, I like that.
Mhm. Yeah, so
I'm
that's
assuming-
my recommendation.
I'm assuming it's one of those you fight 2 people and you're like, oh, that was easy, and then the next level's 10 people and you're like, oh, this got hard real fast.
It's
Exactly.
like kill people in a room, kill people in a room. Walk down a hallway, people shooting at you. Nope.
No, you can duck and weave, weave.
Well, yeah, but like that's like the big difficulty jump right there. I'm like, oh shit.
It sounds like a nightmare now that I think about it, because
Yeah.
you see the bullet coming towards you, and you know that if you move, it starts coming at you faster. So
Right.
it's like
Exactly.
it's like trying to punch people and your hand doesn't work. It's like you gotta get out of the bullet, but it's like it's still coming at you. That's,
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing: we all originally recommended Gex 3, but now we've just recommended 3 games that are far superior.
Get a Steam game, like X3.
Yeah, Steam is where it's at, everybody. So with that, and on that note, we would like to wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Festivus, etc., etc.
Gather around the birthday tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Julian's birthday recently. Happy birthday, Julian.
Why are we clapping?
I don't know. You survived.
You're American. It's what you do.
Exactly. We clap.
You're right. All right.
We clap at the beginning to sync up the tracks, ladies and gentlemen.
You clap in theaters. You clap when the plane lands. You clap when someone's birthday occurs. That's
You
just how
clap
it
when
is.
somebody parks properly
Yeah,
without
pretty
crashing
much.
into anybody. All right. So in any case, have a happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see you very soon.
I'll never be back.
You'll be back. Thank you all, everybody. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Night.